All right, this next video is about not trying to fill the time. Now, in the last video, we talked about time being your greatest asset, that you can't get your time back no matter what you're doing. In this video, I want to talk about trying not to fill in the time, just let your time go by, as you said in the last video, spending your time rather than investing it. And there's a balance to this. You've got to spend some time in order to enjoy yourself. So that's time spent on something. I think time, when you try and fill the time, it's time which is, you're never going to get back. You're never going to get back the time that you're investing. But when you invest something, you do get it back in a certain way, because you're building for your own future. You're building for your kids' future. You're building for something. You're constructing something. You're creating something. For me, filling the time, that was my life. That was the alcohol life for me in a nutshell. Just wasting time. You have the same 24 hours as everyone else, the same 7 days a week, the same, same days, same time as the beggar on the street or the most successful person on the planet, right? You've got the same time, and it's how your time is utilized, how you invest or spend that time that matters the most. For me, when I talk about this pointlessly spending time, I'm talking about it from the perspective of going to the pub, sitting in a pub and just doing nothing, sitting on my arse at home. You can do nothing else when you're drugged up. You're watching TV. You're surrounding yourself with boring people, pointless conversations, same thing over and over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day. Whether you go to the pub or whether you stay at home, it's the same stuff. You talk the same stuff. It's like Groundhog Day, except that you don't. In Groundhog Day, Bill Murray was using his time to get better and better and better. Whatever his motivations were for doing that, but he was improving as a person. We're not doing that, This is the worst thing about it. So, when I was drinking, one of the worst parts of it is that you delude yourself into thinking that it's fun. You delude yourself into it because everybody else that you're surrounded by does the same thing. Your major influences around you are doing the same thing, culturally. Big cultural influences that point you to the same thing. So you're caught up in that so much that you can't see it, and it's only when you step outside of it and look from a different point of view that you can, you can see things from a clarity, and that gives you a different perspective. But to give you a perspective on this, I know we've been talking about this from the perspective of time. One of the best things that you can do is a time analysis. And it's to take the amount of days that you've got, or what you do in a day. The average lifespan of anybody is 27,500 days. I recently passed 20,000 days, and I know this because before I stopped drinking alcohol, I found this website that you could send yourself emails into the future, so you could time it for a certain time. I did it for those landmarks in my life. 20,000 days was a big landmark, and I got a message from myself actually 18 days after I'd stopped drinking alcohol, and how I felt and what I was doing and all this kind of stuff. Interesting email. But it opens up your eyes to how much time that is actually behind you and how much time is in front of you. I mean, it's not something that I'm going to continue. I don't want to get to 27,000 days and then be getting emails saying, oh, you've only got 500 days left. That's not something I want to do much of. But in a productive sense, moving forward, it gives you an idea. It's a bit like there's a Stoic saying called amor fati. And it's the love of one's fate. And it means you see everything in life, including suffering and ultimately your own death, as a good thing, or at least it's a very useful and necessary thing. Nietzsche talked about a similar concept. He called it eternal reoccurrence. I think that was it, eternal recurrence. And he was talking about it over an infinite amount of time, and he was saying that everything recurs infinitely. So it's that same thing where there is a love of the fate of things that is going to happen. Marcus Aurelius was another one who he said that it's not death that a man should be afraid of, it's rather fear of never beginning to live. You know, so how much of your day do you truly live? How much of our daily lives do we truly live? Do we get outside of that idea of doing something which is actually living? You know, that concept of bringing reality into your life, understanding how much time you have left, I think is a very potent idea. You know, there is no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees that if you think, oh, well, I've got 7,500 days left, or I've got 10,000 days left. I mean, I'm hoping to get to 37,500 days. That's my goal. So that gives me a lot more days than I originally thought. And I think I've got a better chance of getting to that with the lifestyle that I'm living now, post clearing my brain up, rather than when my brain was dumbed down, right? So if you think about the 24 hours in your day, think about that you spend 8 hours, some people 7 hours, whatever, sleeping. So that's a level of time that you spend. Another, approximately a third of your life, I presume, or I suppose. You spend another third of that time in work. You know, some people spend more. And the other third of your time, you spend at least half of that doing the mundane things that have to be done, you know, bathing, eating, using the toilet, cleaning up, brushing your teeth, mowing the lawn, right? So you basically got what, 4 hours left in every day. So when you're looking at that 4 hours left that you've got, alcohol, for me, used to eat up that time really quickly, you know, because it dumbs you down, and it speeds you up at the same time. So it dumbs down your brain, so you're not thinking clearly. Your brain is running on a slower pace. But because you're doing the same thing over and over again, your time actually speeds up. From the perspective of, you know, what did I do yesterday? I can't remember. You know, it's one of the best things about stopping drinking is that memory of yesterday, that working memory expands. That short-term memory expands, your long-term memory expands. So you're doing more things in the same amount of time, if you get what I mean. You're doing more things in your life. When you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's very difficult to pinpoint one specific time because it all is the same. So we have a course on the V2 platform about how to make more quality time. You know, this all comes from some of the lessons that I've learned very deeply through my own perspective in this journey. You know, life is short, and the older you get, the shorter it becomes. You know, it's very important that you use each and every second of your time that you've got left. I think, you know, time is way more important than money. You know, any idiot can get more money. You know, the most brilliant genius in the world can't get more time. They can use their time better. You can use it more wisely, but they're stuck with the quantity of time that they have. So habits can focus you too much down one area of your life, you know, down a blinkered, especially negative habits can focus you down a blinkered, narrow track. You know, youth, I feel that my youth was taken by my own habits. By a habit that was very difficult to escape because I didn't understand it properly, and it creates a lot of it creates a crappy and boring life, you know, using drugs to escape, and then, you know, you're building a life that you want to escape from. You know, once you stop drinking alcohol, your life opens up and you start doing the things that you always wanted to do, if you give it a chance. You know, it's just, there's a lot that goes on in the background underneath everyone that we don't think about. You know, we don't think about the consequences of the drinking. We don't think about when you have one drink, that has consequences in your mind. It reduces your brain to a certain degree. It reduces your quality of sleep to a certain degree. And that all affects how you react and act the next day. And when you add another drink to that, and another drink, and then you add another day to that, and another day, it's all cumulative. So if you want a leg up, someone behind you to help you teach how to make this happen, to avoid the mistakes, and to really start living towards that best possible version of yourself, we've got our platform, Habits V2. Like I said in these videos, V2 stands for version 2, but we use it as a teaching tool. So today the V word is valuable. What can be more valuable in your time than in your life than time? A lot of people say, well, without health you can't do anything, but I think time is much more valuable than health, because you can be very healthy, but if you've got no time to enjoy that health, then what's the point in having the health? So there's a lot of truth in live as if today were your last day. You know, your time is much more valuable to you than anything else. Time is your friend, or it can be your enemy. You know, what it is depends entirely on you and what you do and how you perform in life. You can use it to climb, to see your life as a mountain. I always see my life now as a mountain. I can't see the top of the mountain. I don't know where I'm going. The top of it is always obscured by whatever. So I don't know what's up there. But I can see the next level. And the next level is something that I want. Where I am is something that I want. But the most important thing for me is looking backwards at how far I've come. You know, when you're climbing up and you can see backwards, you see, you know, everything becomes clearer and clearer. You can see further and further. And you understand things from a different perspective. So you can either create that mountain for yourself and climb that mountain and get everything that entails, or you can dig the biggest hole in your life. That's what I used to do. Every alcohol drink that I was drinking was digging a hole deeper and deeper. So anyway, I'm going to finish it there for today. The best of luck to you. V for valuable. I'm out of here. Onwards and upwards. Take care.